On the news, Nigeria's oil industry set for major boost as National Assembly passes Petroleum Industry Bill. Federal government promises fair hearing for Nnamdi Kanu. And troops arrest suspected ISWAP member in Ogun State. Glad to have you join us on News Now. I am Mary Kanu. Both the House of Representatives and the Nigerian Senate have finally passed the long-awaited Petroleum Industry Bill, which seeks to reform, promote transparency, and attract investment capital into the oil and gas sector. The bill was passed during the plenary on Thursday after careful consideration of each of the clauses. Our correspondent Simisola Adigun monitored the event at the Senate and files in this report.
Thursday's plenary was solely devoted to the consideration of the report submitted by the Joint Committee on Petroleum Downstream, Upstream and Gas. One of the key points in the report is that 30% of the profit accrued from the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) be used for funding exploration of frontier basins.
The Joint Committee's recommendation recognizes the need for the country to urgently and aggressively explore and develop the country's frontier basins to take advantage of foreseeable threats to the funding of fossil fuel projects across the world due to speedy shifts from fossil fuel to other alternative energy sources. To this end, the committee recommends funding mechanism of 30% of NNPC Limited's share profit and profit gas as in the production sharing profit and the risk service contract.
On his part, Deputy Senate President Ovie Omo-Agege appealed that the contribution of companies to a host communities trust fund be increased.
This bill, as originally conceived, provided only 2.5% contribution by settler companies to the host community trust fund. But because of your leadership, Mr. President, they've been able to move this up to 5%. I would still make the case, if possible, that we go a little bit more than the 5% already agreed. I understand we cannot get the 10%, Mr. President. I understand that. But that is a clamor at home. So I will plead, if there's a chance we can go a little bit more than the 5%, we will be grateful.
Omo-Agege also raised the issue of gas flaring penalties, demanding that such funds be channeled into developing affected communities.
Mr. President, the position we are taking earlier was that all of the penalty funds ought to go to the development of the host community, that is the impacted host communities. Mr. President, I believe that we've come to some form of understanding here. Earlier, there was also a push to have some of these funds go into the frontier basin, I'm told.
Before passing the bill, the Senate also met behind closed doors with the Minister of State for Petroleum, Timipre Silva, and the Group Managing Director of the NNPC, Mele Kyari. With the passage of the PIB by both chambers of the National Assembly, it is expected that a joint committee will be constituted to harmonize positions on the bill before it is sent to President Muhammadu Buhari for assent. Simisola Adigun, TV360 News.
And to further discuss the approval of the PIB, we now have joining us on News Jeremiah Kingsley, a journalist and energy analyst. Thank you for joining us. First of all, how significant is the passage of the PIB to Nigeria's oil and gas industry?
Thank you. The passage of the PIB for the oil and gas industry is very significant. Significant because it is disappointing that Nigeria has not been able to pass the bill in the past 2 decades, and in the course of that, we've lost a lot of investment. At some point, stated to be about $200 billion, and so we've seen a lot of challenges also in the oil and gas sector, particularly the harsh operating environment and the level of uncertainty that's been in the industry. So that has forced some international oil company as well as indigenous oil company to take away their fund. So with this passage, we are hopeful that we'll be able to drive more investment. We are also hopeful that there's going to be a level of certainty for people who want to invest in the sector. And oil and gas is Nigerian mainstream investment accounting for, revenue sector accounting for about 90% of our revenue. So if this is done, it means that government is going to have more money to finance developmental projects. So I think it's something significant that we should celebrate.
Okay.
But why?
Go ahead.
No, but why we talk about the passage at the National Assembly, we have seen the same thing with the previous National Assembly, where the president did not assent to the bill. Although this is an executive bill, and we expect the president to assent to it, but we can't celebrate yet until the president actually assent to the bill.
Well, unfortunately, that's all we can take on the news. Jeremiah Kingsley, journalist. Moving on to the other stories, the federal government says none of the collaborators of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, would be spared. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, at a press briefing in Abuja, said irrespective of the collaborators' standing in the society, they will all face the full wrath of the law for challenging the nation's sovereignty and unity with the activities. Mohammed also revealed that Kanu's rearrest was made possible by the diligent efforts of security and intelligence agencies in collaboration with undisclosed countries.
We can tell you that in the forensic investigation carried out so far has revealed a treasure trove of information on the proscribed IPOB leader and his collaborators. While the investigation continues, we assure you that none of the collaborators, irrespective of their standing in society, will be spared. They will all face the full wrath of the law for their activities that challenge our nation's sovereignty and threatens its unity. No one, no matter how hard it is, has begun in the country. It's also interesting that many are suddenly calling for a fair trial for Kanu, as if he didn't get one before. He decided to jump bail and flee. However, I can assure you that the fair deal that Kanu denied many of the victims of the violence which he willfully instigated through his broadcasts and tweets will not be denied.
Meanwhile, Yoruba Nation agitator Sunday Adeyemo, also known as Sunday Igboho, has suspended the rally earlier scheduled for Saturday, July 3rd in Lagos State. The suspension comes hours after Igboho's Ibadan residence was attacked by some unknown gunmen. Igboho said 2 people were killed while cars and valuable items were destroyed during the attack, allegedly carried out by soldiers and Department of State Services operators on his house in the early hours of Thursday. Igboho has been under intense pressure to suspend the Lagos rally amidst tension in the state and fear of the rally being hijacked by hoodlums. The defense headquarters says troops of Operation Awatse have arrested a suspected member of the Islamic State in West Africa province ISWAP in Sango Ota area of Ogun State. Acting Director Defense Media Operations Brigadier General Bernard Onyuko disclosed this during a media briefing in Abuja on Thursday. And according to Onyuko, an intelligence report revealed that the suspect was on a mission to Lagos to acquire certain items for ISWAP's operations in Maiduguri when he was apprehended.
Operation Awatse activities within the period involved routine patrols to forestall activities of vandals on NNPC pipelines at Gaon, Akute, Wawa 1 and 2, and Magbero areas. Additionally, troops carried out standing patrols, raid operations at strategic areas within this zone, including Majidun area. during which one Mr. Ibrahim Musa, an Islamic State West African Province member, who was arrested at number 31 Abattoir Street in Sangota, Ogun State. Intelligence reports revealed that Ibrahim was on a mission to Lagos to acquire certain items for ISWAP operations in Maiduguri. In another development, own troops acting on intelligence reports on ongoing illegal oil bunkering activity at Alimosho NNPC pipeline, arrested one Mr. Oyeshola Sahib, acting as the illegal bunker supervisor. However, he also named one Mr. Akombi as the sponsor and financier of the illegal bunkering activities in the area. Both vehicles and equipment used for the operations were recovered and handed over to appropriate security agencies for necessary action.
Onyeko also briefed journalists about the operations of the armed forces between June 18 and June 30th. He said 73 Boko Haram members were killed within 2 weeks in the northeast.
A total of 73 Boko Haram terrorists were killed, and the troops recovered 44 AK-47 rifles, 2 PKT guns, 7 anti-aircraft guns, 7 gun trucks, and heavy cache of ammunition of various calibers were equally captured by the troops. In another development on 27 June, a total of 55 escapees from terrorist camps, comprising of 15 adult males, 12 adult females, and 27 children, surrendered to own troops at Dara Jamel in Borno State. On 27th of June 2021, the air component of Operation Hardin Kai, in coordinated multiple airstrikes, destroyed some terrorist commanders' strongholds at the Lake Chad axis of Borno State. The airstrikes were targeted at various terrorist camps in Sambon Tumbu, Jibularam, and Kwalaram towns in the state. These air operations destroyed their spiritual base and training camps within the fringes of Lake Chad.
Well, moving on now, voter education, constant dialogue and community outreaches will go a long way in addressing the attacks on the offices and facilities of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and all stakeholders must be ready to offer its support to the electoral umpire. Director General of the Electoral Institute, Said Idris, said this during the 2021 annual Abubakar Momo Memorial Lecture themed Security and Elections Implications for Anambra State Governorship and 2023 general elections. Idris said the aim of the lecture is to suggest ways of conducting free, fair, credible and inclusive elections amidst the kind of security scenario Nigeria is currently experiencing.
The fortunate situation we are facing today is that security in this country has degenerated beyond the above-mentioned reckless manipulations, politics of brinkmanship and subversion. The constant fears expressed today by the political, of course, by the electoral umpire, which is INEC, the electorate themselves, and Nigerian citizens in general, at the possibility of insecurity at elections, banditry, kidnappings, and even threat of highly dangerous criminal elements marauding the country as a whole. For an umpire and all our stakeholders who are conscious of our responsibilities of ensuring the conduct of free, fair, credible and inclusive elections, security issues must be frontally discussed and tackled.
The flag bearer of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, Abga Chukwuma Soludo, has nominated Onyeka Chukwu Ibezim as his running mate for the forthcoming November 6 election in Anambra State. Ibezim currently serves as a special advisor to Governor Willie Obiano on indigenous medicine and herbal practice. 4 months away from now, on November 6, residents of Anambra State will go to the polls to elect a new governor as the Willie Obiano-led administration will come to an end on March 17, 2022. The New Nigeria movement has kicked against the reopening of the Lekki toll gate by the Lagos state government, saying it is an act of injustice to those who died during the NSAS protest. At a press conference held in Ikeja on Thursday, the group said it will not stop lending its voice to fighting against police brutality, adding that it would be a shame for the state government to reopen the toll gate for business at this time.
The evidence of a principal witness, Professor Bafunwa, the pathology expert from the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, is not concluded. 2. The crucial report of the forensic expert engaged by the panel has not even been presented. Let's talk of being subjected to the crucible of diverse cross-examinations. Gentlemen, you will recall that was it February or January, there was a lot of furore over this issue of forensic report leading to the futile order. It's a futile order that the Lekki toll gate should be reopened. That place has not been reopened, and it can't be reopened. It's a different thing to give judgment. It's a different thing to serve justice.
I think Nigerians were being rated as people that forget easily. But this event is difficult. It's different. It's not going to be game as usual. If we have been able to sustain the memorial of these people for another 8 months, we will sustain it for another 100 years.
Exactly.
And even if we don't get justice now, justice awaits everyone that is involved in that massacre, directly or indirectly.
What is clear as our conclusion is that history will absorb us. We are prepared to continue this struggle. We are prepared for the widest mobilization of the Nigerian working people against their oppressors. Their shootings can't stop us. Their arrests can't stop us, and their killings can't stop us.
We'll take a break here, but still to come, Gabon jails 3 soldiers for failed 2019 coup. Details after this break. Welcome back. Well, here's a recap of some of our major stories tonight. Both the House of Representatives and the Nigerian Senate have finally passed the long-awaited petroleum industry bill, which seeks to reform, promote transparency, and attract investment capital into the oil and gas sector. The bill was passed during plenary on Thursday after careful consideration of each of the clauses. We also told you that the federal government says none of the collaborators of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, uphold, Nnamdi Kanu, would be spared. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, at a press briefing in Abuja, said irrespective of the collaborators' standing in the society, they will all face the full wrath of the law for challenging the nation's sovereignty and unity with their activities. Well, in case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, to log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we are TV360 Online. Nigeria has recorded an additional 75 cases of COVID-19. The latest data from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC) show that the new infections raised the country's total tally to 167,618. And according to the health agency, 259 people were discharged on Wednesday after recovering from the infection, raising the total number of recoveries to 164,244. Also, no new deaths was recorded, leaving the casualty toll at 2,120. The United Nations Conference on Trade and Development says the global economy could lose $4 trillion due to the impact of coronavirus on international tourism. The agency, in a report jointly issued with the UN World Tourism Organization, also noted that the estimate was based on losses caused by the pandemic's direct impact on tourism and the ripple effect on related sectors. In July 2020, the UN agency estimated that the standstill in international tourism would cost the global economy between $1.2 trillion and $3.3 trillion. We'll take a break here and return with business and international stories. To stay with us.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other Paper Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
Welcome back. Folashade Ogunrinde is standing by with the latest in the world of business. Over to you now, Folashade.
Thank you very much, Mary. Siemens Energy Limited says it will upgrade 22 transmission substations in Nigeria, in addition to the 11 new ones to be constructed under the Presidential Power Initiative, PPI. According to the Chief Executive Officer of Siemens Energy, Sheun Suleiman, the pre-engineering phase of the project will be completed in 10 months. He further explained that the power project, which comes in 3 phases, is poised to take Nigeria's operational capacity of the grid from less than 5,000 megawatts to 7,000 megawatts by 2021. In July 2019, the federal government signed a power project deal with Siemens AG with the aim of increasing Nigeria's electricity generation to 25,000 megawatts in 6 years. We'll take a break here and return with a stock market review. Stay with us.
Corruption not in my country.
Hello, Alahaji. Right now I'm in Abuja. No. Hello, Adamu. Right now I'm in Kano. Yes. When I get back, I will just call you. Look, what is wrong with you? I'm talking on the phone and you are gesticulating and doing. What's wrong with you?
Daddy, where exactly are we as we speak?
Are you alright? This is Lagos.
Well, you just lied to someone that we are in Abuja.
Keep quiet. Who told you you can tell an elderly person is lying?
Daddy, you just lied. And by lying, you are raising corrupt children for the future of Nigeria. That is corruption, not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. The first day of trading for the month of July ended on a negative note on the floor of the Nigerian exchange, with total equities depreciating by 0.02%. We can also see that the all-share index settled at 37,898 basis points, while capitalization still hovers around the 19 trillion naira mark. Now, market breadth closed positive as Triples G and Company PLC, as well as Owando PLC, were in the gains today, and they had a total gain of 19 naira 77 kobo. Now, on the flip side, you can see that 14 losers topped by Royal Exchange PLC and Ikeja Hotel PLC had a combined loss of 18 naira 34 kobo. Now, from our market summary, we can see that 205 million volume of shares valued at 2.7 billion naira exchange hands in 3,563 deals. Now, taking a look at what went on the foreign stocks, we can see that the London Stock FTSE kicked off this month's trading on a good start with a leading index point of 1.25%. The Dow Jones is also having a good day with a positive trading territory of 0.23%, but the Asian stocks Nikkei began its trading for the first day in July with a negative trend. Now, it traded in the reds at 0.29%. But that's all on the update we have for now. Back to Mary for the rest of the news.
Thank you very much, Folashade. Well, up next is Entertainment Report on News Now.
Top comedian and filmmaker A.Y. Makun has announced his latest comedy feature film titled Christmas in Miami. A.Y. recently teased fans with a video confirming the production, which will star Coming to America actor John Amos alongside Nollywood royalty Richard Mofedami and Osita Ieme. Although plot details for Christmas in Miami are currently on the wraps, it is also unclear if A.Y. will be taking on his famous Akpos character. The teaser, however, suggests that the lead character played by A.Y., RMD and Ieme take a trip to Miami for a Christmas competition featuring players from other countries. AY's new project comes over a year after Merry Men 2 debuted in the cinemas. Production for Wakanda Forever, the highly anticipated sequel to the Oscar-winning billion-dollar blockbuster Black Panther, has kicked off at Pinewood Studios in Atlanta. This was confirmed by Marvel Studios chief Kevin Feige, and the news of Chadwick Boseman's death left fans with mixed feelings, but Marvel later confirmed that there will be no replacement for Boseman's character in the feature film. And that is all that we have for you in the entertainment segment of News Now.
And in international news, 3 soldiers behind a failed coup in Gabon in 2019 were on Thursday sentenced to 15 years in prison. In January 2019, several military officers led by Kelly Obiang attempted to seize power in the Central African country. The soldiers faced pressure from across the continent to abort their undemocratic mission and were subsequently arrested. Obiang and his accomplices were detained at Libreville Central Prison for more than 2 years and therefore have 13 years to serve in jail. And now in sports news. Now, Manchester United has confirmed an agreement in principle to sign Jadon Sancho from Borussia Dortmund in a deal worth £73 million. The England international will undergo a medical following his involvement in Euro 2020 before completing his switch to Old Trafford. Dortmund made a stock exchange announcement on Thursday morning, which also confirmed Sancho has agreed personal terms with United and is expected to sign a 5-year contract with the option of a 6th. Well, that's all on News Now at this time. Thank you for watching. I am Mary Kanu. Bye for now.